Yeah, Shiva.
Hi, sir.
What is the demo on ECS today?
So today I'm going to build a WordPress web page on ECS Elastic Container Service by using ECR images on the AWS console. So this is our
Okay.
small demo today about on the ECS topic. So
Okay, go ahead.
so this is the basic simple diagram which we are going to build a WordPress site from the Docker Hub by pulling the image. So first of all, we need to install Docker on the EC2 so that from the Docker Hub we can pull the WordPress image on the server. So then we need to create one ECR repository on AWS console. So then after that we need to create one ECS cluster from the ECR. Then we need to create one Elastic Load Balancer creation. So from the load balancer, the DNS host name is enabled. So from that we can able to access the web page, WordPress site web page on the browser. So this is a simple diagram for this. So which we are going to take the one by one step by step. So first of all, the basic terminology about AWS ECS is it is the Elastic Container Service, which is highly available and scalable performance container orchestration service. So it supports Docker containers, which allows you to easily run and scale the containerized applications on the AWS at a simple manner. So basically the main function of the ECS is to eliminate the need for you to install your own containers or softwares, and even you can manage the applications by scaling up of virtual machines. So with the simple API calls on the ECS, so you can start and stop the Docker applications to complete the state of your application on VMs. So finally, the ECS can access the many features on AWS like IAM roles, security groups, as well as load balancers come with CloudWatch events and templates. You can easily access these all features with ECS service. So this is the basic introduction about ECS. So we are also going involving with the AWS ECR. So this is basically Elastic Container Registry. So it is a fully managed Docker container registry managed by AWS itself. So it makes easy for the developers even to store, manage, and scale and deploy the Docker container images on the ECR repository. So we can easily scale it up, and it eliminates the need to operate your own container repositories. So no need to worry about the scaling and the underlying infrastructure. So ECR will take care of it. So imagine ECR hosts your images in a very highly scalable, high available and scalable architecture. So it allows you to reliably simply deploy the containers for your applications. So with Amazon ECR, the main benefit is so there are no upfront fees or commitments before using the ECR at first. So this is also for the AWS Fargate. So basically the Fargate is a compute engine like EC2 service for Amazon ECS that allows you to run the containers without having to manage the servers. So AWS Fargate is nothing but it is a serverless. You can think it as a serverless and it is managed by the AWS, fully managed service. So with AWS Fargate, so you no need to longer to have the provision configure as well as scale the VMs to run the containers. So AWS will take care of that all the things, infrastructure, everything. AWS Fargate so removes the need for you to interact with or think about the servers. So because it is the fully managed by the AWS service. So you just focus on your designing part as well as the building your applications. So instead of the managing the infrastructure behind that, which runs on the VMs. So this is all about basic terminology on AWS ECS. So now we are going to the solution part. So for that, we need some prerequisite to follow. So first of all, I need to install Docker version on EC2 server. Then I need to install AWS CLI command and configure it to connect with the Docker registry with ECR. So for that, I am installing AWS CLI. So first of all, we need to install. So let's go to our AWS console. So I log in with my home console AWS. My username. So select EC2. So go to instances, launch instance. So just give so I'm going with the Ubuntu server and the 20.04 version AMI. So I'm going with the key pair which I have created already, AWS key. You go with the default options on network settings. So just allow everything in the demo. So let's create a launch instance. So go to instances. So the server is ready now. It is pending state. So that is our prerequisite. So next slide, we are going to do the tasks. So step by step. So for that, first of all, we need to, okay. Now the server is ready. So let's connect with the mobile system. So click on session. Go to SSH. Okay, I need to give the public IP here. So select copy the public IP. So just give it here. To server. Click on SSH. Click on select private key. This is click on OK. So I connected backstem through SSH. So let's update our server. So I need to install Docker first of all. So for that, this is the commands to install Docker. So give here command curl and the last command is now. So Docker is creating. So meanwhile, next I need to install AWS CLI and configure it with the credentials. So let's verify Docker version. Okay, so Docker is available on our server. Now I need to install AWS CLI. So for that, this is the command sudo apt install AWS CLI. Let's execute. So it is installing. So this is the prerequisite which we need to follow. So later I need to create one ECR Elastic Container Repository in AWS. Then we need to log in access to push the Docker image to ECR using AWS CLI. So for that I need to configure the credentials first of all. Later we need to create one Docker image from the Docker Hub. So we need to push the image to Amazon ECR. After we need to create one custom cluster in ECR. So for the creating of EC, then we need to open the public DNS load balancer to access the WordPress page. So these are the steps I'm going to do task. Okay, so let's configure the credentials. So I need to give the key. So for that I have in my local key. Okay, so yeah, it is. This is my access. So for the demo purpose, I'm just giving the visible way. So this is secret. So I'm going to the region is so for that everything is okay for the prerequisite tab. We have set just now. So next The task one is create a repository in ECR. So for that, select services, and under services, you need to select ECR. So just go to ECR. So just get, so create repository and giving the name. Silva. This is my name. So it is a private. So everything is default. So create repository. So this is my repository. So that is the first task. So let's move to the second task. So we need to login access to push the Docker image to ECR using CLI. So for that, this is the command AWS ECR get login --region. So this is the, so we need to this command. So let's read it. For that, click on here. So copy this account data. The region is US East 1. This is the command you need to connect with your account to the ECR. So for that, I need to mention the account ID as well as the region also. Now just enter. So it is executing. So this command will connect to the Docker repository to the ECR. So let's execute this whole just copy and paste the terminal and enter. Okay, so we need to give permission first to the Ubuntu user. So let's take from the permission denied. So first of all, you need to add that Ubuntu user to the Docker first. So let's add the command, and you need to give the permission also for that user, Ubuntu users. You can execute your response from daemon. No such post. Okay. I think here M is missing, so that's why it is showing. So let's take full. So one letter is missing at the end. So take this completely. Now execute. Just enter. Now the login is succeeded. So you could already connect to the doc from the doc hub to the ECS. So let's create image from the Docker hub. So for that, I need the Docker pull WordPress from the Docker hub. So let's execute this command. So it is taking from the library. So later you need to just give Docker images up to which will show the images. Okay, completed. So let's execute Docker images. So our image WordPress image is ready to push to the ECR. So this is the task field. So now we have the Docker image, WordPress image. So now we need to push the image to Amazon ECS. So before going to push the image, so this is the prerequisite. So the minimum version of Docker is 1.1.7, and you need to authorization token to configure with the Docker login. So and also you need to the imagine ECR repository exists. So before pushing the image to repository, and you have to access the push to the repository. So you have the user access even also to push the image to the repository. So this prerequisite you must have met the requirement. So for to build the image tagging, let's execute this command. Docker tag image id AWS account id. So we will change the account id. Execute this account id. Image id. This is image id. I think here something. Okay. So enter properly. I need to give again that account id. Just enter the name of the Okay, Siva WordPress. So it has tagged with this mention.com Siva WordPress. Now I need to push. So for that, this is the command docker push AWS account ID dot ECRUS on Amazon.com. So let's execute docker. So this is the command. So let's execute. Press enter. Now it is pushing the image from the to the ECR. So that is about task 4. So let's verify on the repository whether our image is available or not. Okay, so let's verify on the console. So click on our repository. So our image is latest. So it pushed at 2140. Yes. So this is our image, WordPress image from the Docker hub. So the task 4 is you need to create one custom cluster in ECR. So let's go to our console, select ECR container service, select. So click on started. Okay, so for that, so I need to configure the custom template. So for that, let's go to configure the custom. I need to give the container name. You need to give the image. So we have already the image, right? Okay, take this. Then you need to give the port. So it's 80 port number default. Let's update. So this is our task definition name. First one, task definition. Network mode AWS VPC. So execution role is create view. Just click on next. Number of desired task is 1. So our service name is WP cluster service. So select application load balancer. So it will create the default VPC as well as subnets to connect with the network. So let's. So these are the images. So just I followed. So the cluster VPC subnets is automatically created. Okay. next. So this is the review. So basically this is the diagram of our ECS. So the outer layer is represents the cluster. So inside the cluster we need to create one service. So for that service, this is the task definition, and under task definition, this is the container definition. So once you can review everything, the configuration is correct information. So definition name, WordPress cluster name, and image name is correct. The port number is which I can access at 18. So let's create. Now it is preparing our services and all the configurations which I have mentioned in to create the cluster, right? So let's wait until to complete all those things. So this is the ECS resource creation and the cluster task definition service. So additionally, this is the resources creating VPC subnets and security group, as well as load balancer and the stack also. So you can also add additional features for your service. Suppose if you want to add, then you can add after creation. So it is taking time. So I think okay, the status is complete. So let's review our service. So our cluster name is WP cluster. The status is active. Our service type is replica service type, and launch type is Fargate. So it is the managed by AWS service, fully managed service. So, so this is our cluster service WordPress. Go to inside the task creation and the content. Okay, so go to tasks. So our task is running state only with the group service WP cluster, and it has the version 1.4.0. This is a launch type target, so it is the serverless. Everything is taken by the AWS. So our last Okay, now open a public DNS of load balancer and access the web page WordPress. Let's go to our console. Go to select. So come down. Yeah. So this is the load balancer. So select. So from the load balancer, from the open DNS name, you can access the web page. So click on this. That's clear. So showing the WordPress setup configuration. Then you can set up as well as usual like that. So this is the simple demo. We can set up a WordPress from the image by using the ACR and ECS services in AWS. Yeah, this is the demo, sir.
You can create blog. If you want to create the blog means you need to set up the database server, right?
Yes, yes,
Configuration, right? WordPress, this one, right?
yes.
Okay. So up to installation, it is done. Deployment. I mean, okay. So now what I want you is just to go to the slide. You have different tasks, five or four or five are there, right? Each task is what is the service it is created. Show the content on the screen. Just it will be a conclusion for us.
This one.
From task one onwards. You have slides, right? Task one, two, like that.
So the first slide is talking about we need to create one
Create
repository
the repository, ECR, Elastic Container Registry. Okay.
to store the images and all those things. For,
Yes.
for that, we need to create one ECR on AWS console.
Show me that repository name on the screen. What it was created by you on console.
So this
No,
is
no,
the
you have created that created repository name.
okay.
If you go down that console, in the console, AWS console means that account. Yes. So where is the repository name? You have to go to ECR, right?
Yes. So this is our image inside the repository, so which I have created. I think 10 minutes back. So that is the first one. Let's go to that task 2 is so we need to access to push the Docker image to ECR from the Docker hub.
That you have done from Linux EC2, right? In the
Yes,
local
yes, I will show
cloud, AWS cloud. Okay. So get a Docker image. You showed just now the image also on console, ECR console, right?
somewhere.
Yeah, that is fine. That Linux, you don't need to show, just task wise, you can explain.
So after that, once we have successfully logged into from the Docker repository to the ECR, and we need to create one Docker image. So for that, I'm pulling from the Docker hub. So that's WordPress image.
With the AWS account.
Yes, yes.
Use the AWS account credentials, right?
Yes, yes.
You have that Linux command, what you used it, just show one more time what you fired it by
This one. AWS
Linux
is
screen.
here on the yellow highlight.
Yes.
So AWS ECR get login, and you need to
Hmm.
mention your region also first. Then
Hmm.
suppose you need to mention even your account ID.
Hmm.
So, but you suppose if you didn't mention the account ID, it will take in the default root ID. So for that,
Hmm.
need to mention specifically to configure to the our AWS
So you
repository.
copy the key file, key content here, M file key.
Yes,
Is it
yes,
correct?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
So this is our for Docker image building purpose.
Hmm.
Uh, Taking from the Docker Hub WordPress image.
Hmm.
Later, you need to push the image to the image and ECR repository. So for
Hmm.
that, before going to push, we need to met the prerequisite these three things. So the Docker version is 1.7 above minimum version,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you should be authorized the access to configure with the Docker login. So that's why
Hmm.
I have Docker login. So this is the credentials, account ID as well as the region to
Hmm.
configure with correct credentials. So later the Amazon ECR repository must exit before pushing the image to the ECR and
Hmm.
access for that repository even for that. Later you can tag the image first of all with account ID
Hmm.
so that you can push the image without any errors.
Okay. You show the tagged image from the console that WordPress should have account ID, right? Your AWS
Yes.
account ID.
Yeah. Here I think yeah.
Open the console. Console. No, not this one. Online, you can show that image will have with account ID, right?
In the
When you
PPT,
uploaded ECR into ECR.
this one.
No, no, no. Go to console. In the ECR, you show the image, WordPress image. That image will have your account ID also, right? With specifications, right? Somewhere it should be there.
To inside this one
Ah,
URL.
that one. Yes, yes. That is the account ID, right?
URL.
Because if you see in your account page, in the corner, right corner, it shows account ID. The same thing it is taken, right? Am I right?
So we can also verify with this number
SAR number,
SSG
yes. Mm.
on the console. Yeah, see SSG 256 6
Mm.
double.
Right, right. That is fine. Now go back to PPT. Last task, what is it? Once it is uploaded, you need to run the Docker container,
Create
right?
one cluster.
Uh,
Yes.
create
Create
custom
service.
cluster in ECR, yes. So when you configure it, what happens?
Basically, when you configure it, so the image will taken by that service ECS service, and it will
Hmm.
manage all the infrastructure, and it will scale up, and it will manage everything by the ECS
Yeah,
cluster.
but now where is the forgets role here? Where it sits? Can you go to your definition? Forget definition, the slide in the beginning, third one, third page or somewhere it is written, right? In your PPT.
It's like one compute engine like EC2.
No, 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 that's correct. But you see the definition. So it is working in the back end. You can't see like a Linux machine, like a virtual machine, right? Fargate
Yeah,
is running in the back end. It is managing the containers like a Linux engine in the back end,
yeah, yes, yes,
right? So you might have installed a lot of containers using EC2 by installing the Docker on Docker engine. Docker engine is where it was running on Linux machine. So
yeah.
here the same way your Docker engine is running on the Fargate. Fargate is nothing but like a Linux system in the back end.
But it is serverless. So
That is correct. You can't see. Let us say if you have taken the RDS, in RDS what happens? You configure the database, but you can't see the Linux machine there. In the backend, it is running. It is not
mm-hmm.
visible. The same way serverless computing is happening with the Fargate, like RDS. So here you can configure the images, you can connect the containers, you can build the applications, cluster in a cluster. All these things can be done with its own networking components, AWS networking components like VPC, subnet, load balancers, all those things, right? Now you go to the URL of the WordPress site. What was that? From where did you bring it? Why the load balancer has come here? No, no, on screen I want to see on console. Console, uh, the load balancer has got its own DNS, right? Open the load balancer in this one, ECS. If you go to the ECS, you will get the components, right?
This one DNS.
Yes. So this particular load balancer, why it is required to manage the containers load on cluster, right? So you
Yes.
have a DNS name for load balancer. Load balancer has got its own URL. With that URL, you are going to just paste that URL and show one more time the site,
Okay.
WordPress site, WordPress admin site. So it is not a IP address, but it has got DNS name. Maybe it is down right now. Cluster is down, I think,
Yes.
not running.
I think let's continue.
Is it running?
Yes, disconnected.
There is some issue. It is down, I think. Your Docker container is not running. You might need to restart the container, then it works. Like EC2 only here, right? It shows
Yes.
the dashboard.
Yes. Suppose it got disconnected, then we need to connect again.
Yes, yes, yes. You connect it and show that.
So that status is active only.
Yes. So this is the cluster running. Now it is running the container. And now use the DNS and check it. WordPress site is running in the backend. Your DNS name is a fixed. It is not
Yes.
going to vary, right, when you restart it,
Yes.
as long as same ELB is there. Maybe it changes sometimes. You have to check that. Is it the same?
Yeah, same.
Same, okay. Good. Now it restarted, it is showing. This is the site you have built in a WordPress container in the past, and that is saved as image. And that image you downloaded it to local Linux machine. From local Linux machine to ECR, you uploaded it. Where when you are uploading, Fargate is taking care of that in the backend. that particular image in like a Linux system, and there you restarted the container from this image. That container is running, and when that container is running, you configure the load balancer also to connect to this particular container. Through load balancer, you're connecting to the container and showing the website. Right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Good. First demo, right, with ECS.
Yes. Yes.
You are going to do some more demos, so as
Yeah.
we discussed it, right? Yes. Okay, good. I'll stop recording.